Well, hey, garden friends. I'm on a little adventure. I'm at a nursery here in Sacramento. This is the Green Acres Sacramento location, formerly Matsuda's. And I just want to show you a little bit of their wonderful little houseplant section. It's where I'm out here in a little hoop house, basically, or a greenhouse. And the fans are blowing. It's super hot outside, but in here they're keeping it nice and cool, or at least cooler. And there's some really, really beautiful plants in here. You can see some Phalaenopsis right there, the moth orchid. You know, a lot of folks get these as gifts and then have them die, but you know what? You can actually grow them. They can actually continue to grow. It takes a little bit of effort, but they're a wonderful, wonderful plant. I've got one at home that's putting out some new leaves. I can't wait to see if it can bloom. But look at these wonderful, wonderful plants. Such a lot of different color, textures. Some house plants I've never even seen before. So there's a lot of new varieties. People are going houseplant crazy out here in California. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but with folks being, you know, locked inside their houses, essentially, people turn to just gardening, just growing, yeah, which is a great way to cope, I suppose. And so there are some wonderful, wonderful plants. I mean, look at these ficus right here, these rubber plants. Look at the color on that. A couple different varieties too. You can look at really pretty. The variegation. This one's not variegated, but look how just a deep, deep, dark green with a little bit of tinge to it. Really pretty. Just loving it. You can probably hear the fans blowing right next to me. Look at this one. This is a pretty cool ficus too. I think Ficus triangularis or something like that. But look at those leaves. Super triangular, almost looks like a ginkgo. But I've never grown that one personally, but I wouldn't mind giving it a shot. You can see the Fiddle Leaf Pigs are looking good. We're growing those in the classroom right now, and they are doing killer. Of course, we got some dragon plants, some Dracena. And you know what I noticed? Look how cool this plant is right here. Really pretty. It's all braided up, right? It takes a bit of effort. Look at the price. Not even that bad. 15 bucks for 3 individuals woven as one, but pretty cool. You know, of course, I'm a bit partial because I'm a big fan of this nursery. But you know, not, you know, all things considered. But yeah, really pretty. Look, this is stuff people are into now too, I guess. I've never done this myself, but it is a nice thought. You know, look at these little fairy gardens. People are making these little miniature gardens. But really, I'm into the plants, as you know. And so you can just, I mean, look at these. There's some gorgeous specimens in here. I mean, look how tall that Dracena is. It's massive. Even these palms are looking killer. I mean, what are your favorite houseplants to grow? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about the houseplants that you love the most. What do you do to grow them? What are your secrets? What are the pitfalls? Oh, whoa, look at this one. Look at this Calathea. Super beautiful. Man, I might have to grab one of those later. They're a little more expensive, right? So you see that Dracena was a bit more affordable. These ones are a little bit more, but you know what? They're really freaking cool. They're so beautiful. And if you can get one like that, usually what we do is we divide it, and then we have several, and then we try to grow those and spread them out, and then you know, propagate, multiply. Oh, I just bought one of these two right here. Let me show you without swinging too fast. Beautiful, beautiful philodendron. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and just so pretty. I cannot wait for ours to hopefully multiply, because that would be so cool. I would love to be able to have more to spread out. Of course, you got your alocasias, right? Your elephant ears are really popular. We got a nice big one back in the classroom. Same thing. We're trying to grow more of them and propagate and divide as they mature a little bit, so we can go from one plant to several, which is great. But yeah, even the pothos over here are looking really, really killer. A lot of different varieties. A couple different varieties also of philodendron, which look very similar to pothos. Some more calatheas, just gorgeous. Look at the pothos marble queen up there, that great color. And the last thing I'm going to show you right now is this is a pretty cool plant right here that you don't see too often, and that is a massive, massive Staghorn Fern, I do believe. This is a Maui variety, called that. This one's called Panama, which is a bit smaller, I suppose. But look at that, just freaking beautiful, really cool. And actually, from this angle, you can really see why they get their name, the Staghorn Ferns. It almost looks like the horns, or actually that's the antlers on a buck of a male deer or something. Just so cool. I just love those. And of course, look at this wall of greenery right here. If you're ever looking for a houseplant that blossoms, one of your go-tos, of course, is going to be your peace lily, your spathiphyllum. I mean, they are a really pretty plant just on their own, just the leaves. But when they put up those spikes, they're pretty, those flower spikes, they're really pretty as well. And they give you some color. And of course, no houseplant collection is ever complete. Probably the first houseplant a lot of people can start with is your spider plant. Although, you know what? I've noticed as far as my houseplants go, I actually do better when they need a lot more sun than my house gets for them to do well. So I've noticed in my house, they're kind of hanging in there, but not doing great compared to the other plants that actually tolerate a little bit lower light conditions. All in all, nice, beautiful little greenhouse here. It's actually my first time walking through this specific greenhouse, and I'm actually delighted. Here's some plants that are pet safe. So if you got cats and dogs that are always nibbling on your house plants and you're worried, everything you hear supposedly is plant safe. So you've got some hypowesties and all types of little plants in here. Lots of color with these ones. Look at those, great color. A little finicky, but if you get good at them, they do really well. Ooh, look, they're actually blooming. Look at that. Yeah, you don't see them bloom too often, but in here they get lots of good light, so they're kicking buns. Just looking great. Oh, you know what? Check this out. Just a whole wall of snakes. Oh, snakes! The snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue, Sansevieria, is a wonderful. Actually, if you're gonna start with one house plant, make it this one. If you're gonna start with one house plant and you're like, I kill everything, I'm a horrible green thumb. Start with Sansevieria. There's a lot of different varieties. You can get your hands on them. They're not too expensive to get started, and they're very hard to kill, in my opinion. And as far as a houseplant goes, I feel like these could dang near grow in a closet. As far as they're low light lovers, they can tolerate a bit brighter light, no problem. Like right now, they're in some pretty good amount of light. But what's awesome is that they really do well even in low light, whereas some of my other houseplants will struggle. I see them just kicking butt and doing great. So that's a great one to start with, personally. But obviously, who doesn't love a bit of color? So there's always a lot of options with houseplants, especially I would recommend, going to your local nurseries, reading up online, making some houseplant friends, because then you can get some cuttings, you can get some great advice. And so here we go. So from our garden to yours, happy gardening and best wishes.